Before we begin, I want to let you know that this episode discusses themes of grief, pregnancy, and pregnancy loss. There may be moments where this story can be emotional, tender, and at times heavy. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know has experienced the loss of a pregnancy, please be patient with them, offer support in whatever ways you can, and seek professional help if it ever feels needed. Thank you for listening.
Hi, welcome, guys, welcome, girls, and every human in between. This is the Bear With Me podcast. I'm your host, Girl Whit. Those of us watching, I have on a moo. Those of us listening, I have on a moo. Um, this is the moo from my grandmother. Well, one of my grandmother's many moo. When she passed away in 2021, um, a couple of us got a moo from her closet, and so this is the one that I picked. But that's needed. It's also very comfortable, and as I do this episode, I wanted to have comfort at the utmost level, and this is emotionally comforting and like physically comforting. I procrastinated and I was very hesitant of this episode for a lot of reasons, and after the first episode, my sister called me to talk about how her listening and just like everything and everything. And she was like, "You sure you want to do an episode about that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Well, don't feel like you're forced or you have to do it." And I really appreciated um, her sharing that with me because it was necessary for her to say that. One moment. Okay. I really appreciated her saying that because it made me kind of just like take a beat and then just really think and process through like what did I want this episode to be? What did I want to make sure um I share? What do I not want to share? And just like a lot of different things. So shout out to my little sister who low key been being a big sister. Um but this episode is the story of how I have two angel babies. So I'm gonna cry. I mean, I already started in just talking about my moo. But it I hope that those who need to hear this. Those who've kind of been curious, here's the story. And yeah, in a lot of women's cases, you don't even really know until you're in the thick of it. And so I'll be honest, I haven't done like a whole bunch of research. I've just done what I needed or could do in real time as things were unfolding for me. But without further ado, my angel babies. Oh, and then also just quick disclaimer. Sometimes a story is within a story. And so if there is humor infused in this, it's just a part of my being. It is also a way in which stuff be happening. And then also, it's a way in which I cope. Like I enjoy a good chuckle or a good laugh. So yeah, that's my story. But anywho, in order to see how I got two angel babies, we gotta bring us up to speed. We gotta know what happened, how happened. So take you back to 2020, end of 21 into 22. I was living my best life. I was outside. I was working out. Body was tea. Like I was really in my bag, like life was living. Living was life. And so it was very much fun. Um, a young gentleman who I'd known pretty much since I had moved to Houston came in through my DMs, whatever. And then we started talking, and then we started linking up, and we started doing stuff you ain't really supposed to. Well, I won't say you ain't supposed to be doing, but we started doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing. I'll be very honest. We should not have been doing that, and then not to that degree. I will also state I have never been on birth control. I don't believe in birth control for my body. It's just a personal feeling, personal opinion, perspective, and yeah. So why you out here doing stuff you ain't got no business doing if you ain't gonna be properly, but we had an agreement. Y'all know how we get down sometimes. Like, okay, we just not gonna, you just make sure you like, yeah, I'm just bear with me, okay? Yeah. Making what they say, stupid games, stupid prizes. Yeah. So let me do a quick sidebar. The power of the tongue, because this is very much real at that time in my life. So I had always, like, after my last relationship or the relationship before making my son, in between that time I was just like, I got till 35. At the time I was 32, almost 33, or 31, 30, don't remember the ages. Somebody counted for me in the comments, but I think I was 31, finna be 32. Whatever that was. Into 22, into 21, into 22. Yeah, I turned 32. Yeah, when I was pregnant, I turned 32. So 31 into 32. Was that really right? That doesn't sound right. He was born in 22. Yes, he was born in 22. Right? Yes, he was born in 22. Ooh, and I'm a year older than the year. So I turned 33. So I was 32 turning 33. There we go. Now, there we go. I'm sorry for that, y'all. I had said I was just like, if I ever get pregnant, like I was like, I gotta cut off factory clothes at 35. One after 35 is considered what they call it now. They call it a advanced age pregnancy. No, or they was calling it geriatric pregnancies, and then they started calling it advanced age. But after 35, eggs ain't as fresh, strong, whatever the case. And so it becomes a high risk pregnancy. And so I was just like, so at that time I was just like, if I'm not pregnant by 35, the shop is closed. Like, it's done. So that was me. And then I also had said, I was just like, if I'm gonna have a baby, it's because I got tricked. Well, I won't say I got tricked because I knew what we were doing, but we had an agreement and the agreement was broken. And I know we could eat me up in the comments about it. I will be very honest. Stupid games, stupid prizes. Own it completely. Own it completely, 1000%. So I know we're like, well, what about birth control? And what about this? And what about that? All type of contraceptives outside of a condom. They're not really my thing. I personally, for my body, I just don't believe in it for my body. Ladies, I'm in support of what works for you and your body. That's you and yours. Me, for me, no thank you. So, yeah, it is April 2022. And I'm living my life. It's Ramadan. And two of my friends, they are Muslim. And so in our circle, as of past years, I don't even know how and when we started this, but we'd all pick a day where we break fast with them. So we all fast for that day. And I'll never forget it because that day that we were fasting, my attitude was terrible with the kids. Just like the utmost, it just from period to period to period, I just had a bad attitude. Whole time I was hungry. Whole time I was pregnant and didn't know it. So I'm also very much outside. I'm also very much competing or just like making PRs at the gym that I was working out at. So I'm just like really doing a lot of different things, pregnant and not knowing it. So it's May. Okay, no period. She coming. Now my cycle is synced with another girl who was on my grade level team. And so I don't know how we started talking about it, but she was like, "Yeah, I'm waiting on mine too." And I was like, "Yeah, shorty playing with me. Like, where you at?" So, or we were talking about something. It was like, you got to think holistically when you work in education. Like, and you got to be reflective. Did I kind of just have a bad day because of this or that? And so we was talking about our day or whatever. Our cycles that came up, and she was like, "No, I'm waiting on mine too, right along with you." Okay, cool, yeah. So then Yeah. Okay. My mind went back and started thinking about what year he was born, but he was born 2022 because I left the classroom. Yes, in 23. Okay. Sorry, guys. You would think I would know that. Yeah. Okay. Now I almost feel like a bad mom. Okay. And we're not gonna internalize. We're okay. Anyway, so it's May. Majority of May is happening. May is happening. May is happening. I'm still outside. I'm still doing. I'm still doing. At some point in around mid May, almost into May, I just wasn't really where we were projecting to be and be as can't even really call it. I guess you would say a situationship. I was like, yeah, no, I won't do this. So I kind of just started creating some more distance. Um, and then it is, I know at this point in time, my cycle should have arrived. I have never missed a cycle. In all the years that I've been having a cycle, never missed a cycle. So that was also like, if it's not like, what's going on? So it is the last week of school. Also, something that I have always said, even before, even before this season of my life, I was just like, if because I was a teacher, I was like, if I ever have a baby, like I'm quitting. The day I find out I'm pregnant, I'm quitting because I want to be able to pour into the life that I'm creating. And teaching is very exhausting and mentally, emotionally, and physically draining at times. And so I was like, I can't have that be a part of me while I'm growing this life. I was just like, nah, yeah, whoever I'm with when we make this baby, we're done. Take over because I just knew what I wanted for my body, my experience, and the life that was being created. So it's like the last week of school, and I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of like feeling weird, but like, whatever. I'm just like, okay, whatever. And so it's the last day of school, and I wake up and I'm laying in the bed, and I'm just like, what if I'm pregnant? And I was like, what? And I was like, nah. And I was like, gee, it's your period should have been here. And I was like, well, we gonna have to take a test at the school. So I wake up getting ready. I text me and my sisters and cousins. We have a chat called Sisters and Cousins because some of us are sisters of each other. Some of us are cousins of each other. Super cute and original, right? Yeah. And so I text in the chat. I was like, hey, anybody want a baby? And my older sister, she was like, what you mean anybody want a baby? And where you getting one from? I said, I don't know, I might be pregnant. We gonna find out after school. The chat is instantly like, what? What? I'm like, yo, yeah, oh, what is right? Like, ooh. So all day while I'm at work, I had this slight nauseous feeling. I was like, I ain't eat breakfast, so I'm hungry. So then one of my teammates, she go to the store and flag number one didn't notice it. I asked for some donuts, a bag of chips, and something else. I can't remember what it was, but I know I asked for a bag of chips and some donuts, and I don't know what that other one was. And so I eat it a little bit. I'm like, this ain't even hitting, so I don't even eat it all. Whole time in my head all day, I'm just like, I'm like, what if you pregnant? And I was like, girl, you gotta relax. It's the last day of school. Let's focus on the last day of school. And I'm just like, okay. So we do the little bus wave send off or whatever, and it's like, all right, last day of school, yeah. So I'm leaving school, and I head to the store to get some pregnancy tests. Now I go and I'm looking, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many options. It's what do I do? What do I do? I'm just hey, and so I think I bought 2 3 packs. Yeah, I bought 2 3 packs. And or 3 2 packs. Don't remember, but I know I had bought plenty of tests. Go to the crib. Also, earlier in that day, my cousin had texted me like, "Are we pregnant?" And I was like, "Girl, I'm at work. What do you mean? Are we pregnant? We'll find out after work." And so I go home and I take the test and it immediately turns red. Immediately. And as fast as it turned red is as fast as I panicked. You talking about a gas. You talking about suck the air out of the room. Oh my gosh. Panic. I'm hot. I'm nervous. I'm instantly crying. I call my sister and I was like, it's positive. It's positive. And she was like, wait. Whole time she was in front of my daddy. And so in order to support me, she knew that she needed to move away from that man. So she get to running up the stairs and she was like, wait. And she was like, yeah, I was in the basement with daddy. Okay. She was like, calm down, breathe. I'm just like, oh my God. Like instant panic. So I was like, okay. And so she gave me affirming words and calmed me down. And so then I get off the phone. I take 2 or 3 more other tests. Second test, dark line, faintish, but kind of is their line. Take another one, they both faint. I'm like, oh God, what is going on? Like, what is going on? When I tell you, they give you 2 ways to take the test. They give you straight pee on it. They also give you put it in a cup and dip it. And then and so I'm trying them out. You know, science teacher and me, we gonna do every version because we need to know. And so I'm like, I'm running out of pee type. So that same night, one of my coworkers, she was throwing like a end of year party at her house, and so I went. So everybody turning up, like it's end of the year, we made it, it's lit. So then it's time to start taking a shot o'clock. And I just found out I'm pregnant. I was like, no, I'm not really drinking. You not drinking? What's going on? I'm like, no, I'm just chilling. They like, what? And I was like, okay, guys, I might be pregnant. Wow, oh my God. And I'm just like, I hear joy in the air. I don't really know how I feel about this right now. And so then I was like, well, this test and this test and this test. And I was just like, and then it was like, okay, well, what about the person, the dad and like this, that, and the third? And I'm just like, yeah. And so they was like, I love the black woman community because if it's one thing we got, it's old wives' tales or myths and just like a whole bunch of things. And so I was just like, after I shared what each test looked like, they was like, well, take the test in the morning because that's when your pee is the strongest. I'm giving them that voice. That's not how they talk, but it just feels that way based off of what they were telling me. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna take the test in the morning. So I wake up, I get ready to pee, and then I like catch myself. I was like, wait, we gotta take a test. And so I go, yeah, back bright red. I said, okay, that's the freshest pee. That's the freshest result. Okay, it's a seed in you. Okay. So I'm just like, this is wild. This is wild. Um, like I told you, I was already creating distance with me and the co-creator, and so I hadn't really talked to him. I had, the final, that Friday was a kid's last day, but teachers had to come back and check out and final words and whatever's. And so also from the minute or moments or hours after I found out I was pregnant, I could feel masculine energy. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew before ever getting confirmed that it was a boy. I just knew it. I was just like, I can feel masculine energy. And those of us who know. So that week we don't really talk, me and the co-creator. And then I think he like hits me up and he was like, yeah, come over. And I was like, all right, bet. So I pull up and I was like, how was your birthday? Because his birthday had passed. And he was like, it was cool. He was like, take a birthday shot with me. I was like, nah. And he's still making a drink. He was like, nah, take a birthday shot with me. And I was like, and I knew that when I went over there, I was gonna have to tell him. So I had packed up my tests and I had labeled them in the orders that I had taken all of them. Because after I had taken them, shortly after, because I had them on the countertop, like, this is what this one looked like and like all that. So they were labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I I had pulled out the bag and I was just like, here. And he was like, what? What? How? What? I'm just like, what do you mean, how? Like, what are we talking about? So he was supportive, like initially in the shock, if you will, because I just was, after I showed him the test and he was just kind of looking shocked, I started crying. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It kind of sets in. And um, shortly after that, I now need to, not even shortly after, I now need to get a confirmation. And so I call my doctor and they don't got no appointment till whenever. Then we start calling all these other potential offices, and everybody is so delayed. And so by the time I actually got my first confirmation, my confirmation appointment, I was like almost 8 weeks. Oh my gosh. Also, needless to say, once I found out I was pregnant on a stick, I was just like, I'm not gonna drink no more, because I had already been thinking about all the drinking that I had done all up and through April and early May. Because when I tell you I was outside, I was outside. And I'm like, oh my God, my baby gonna have fetal alcohol syndrome. And I was just like, ugh. And I was like, relax, with you're being extreme. And so um after the confirmation, at the appointment, we listened to the heartbeat, instantly started crying. I was just like, oh my gosh. When it came up on the screen, that was wow. Like, oh, this is me. That's what's in my body right now. Like the emergence of um what you call these? What you call these? Dang, I'm drawing a blank. Come on, science teacher. Extremities. Ooh, you be struggling. The extremities were starting to bud, and I'm just like, wow, that is in my body right now. This is crazy. All right, bet. So after that, I think the realness starts setting in for him a little bit, and his inability to be supportive, present, and everything in between. And so he then wants to scare me into alternative options. No, I don't believe in that for my body. I'm not doing it. I'm not driving to another state to get it taken care of. I'm not ordering pills. And also in September of, if it was 22, if in September of 21, they had just passed it to be illegal or forbidden in the state of Texas. So you talking about living in this red state where it ain't even an option. So what you talking about? You want me to go drive somewhere else, or you want me to go order something else? And what's gonna happen? Like, no, no. So he had a lot of choice words was that made me feel unsafe in a slight physical, but more so in an emotional and mental space. And I was just like, nah. So I removed myself from him. And I was just like, and it wasn't as immediate as I said in the story, because there was like a pause, and then or outreach, and then there was another pause, and then there was a complete like disconnect everything. I changed my number, everything. And then he got a hold to my work email right before my son ended up passing. So I'm going through May, June, July. I'm now 33. I'm now 33. Told my parents, family, everything in between. It's now early August, and we're back in service, or like teacher PDs before the actual school year starts. And around that time, I'm starting to feel this pressure. Like, it would feel like he was pushing down in a way that was very uncomfortable. And so like I would find myself often just kind of like lifting up, because as when I remember the first time I felt him move, I was leaving from the restroom and going into my bedroom, and I felt like a thump, and I like stopped, and I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, did did he just move? Like, so I instantly text my cousin and my sister, and I was just like, how far along were y'all when y'all first felt movement? Cause when it's your first time, you don't freaking know. You just, the level of joy, excitement, and like nervousness that you have for everything, because it's literally the first time your body is doing any of this. It's beautiful, but it's also scary because like, yeah. So they were helpful but not helpful because they don't remember exactly when it was. My niece is what, she 4 years at the time, and my cousin, while her son was younger, and I don't remember. Do you really do they remember the week? No, but I was 14 or 15 weeks. I wrote it in my journal, but whatever. So I'm feeling this pressure and just like this discomfort on and off, on and off. And so now it's August and I'm having a conversation with a coworker, and she was just like, "How are you feeling about the pregnancy?" I was like, "I'm feeling okay." And she was like, um how she was like, how's the father, is he excited? And so I was just like, nah, like he not really excited. I don't even talk to him no more, just like everything. And she was like, so you got family out here? I was like, nah. She was like, you doing this by yourself? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, girl, I really think that you should like see how you can get some help and support, because it's hard. And she shared a little bit about her story, and I'll never forget that because we was at a whole Texans game talking about it. But I really appreciated what she said, because it kind of put things into perspective for me. Like, if I'm doing this on my own, I have to have a plan. So the plan at the time was, because he was due January 12th, the plan was to have him, I was going to uh, have him, and then at some point somehow, and I don't, now that I even think about this, how was I finna get home? Like, me and a newborn finna have a baby here in Texas and then move back to Chicago? Like, I don't even know. Or I was gonna finish the school year and then move. I don't know, but I had some sort of plan that made sense at the time, because now thinking about what I was thinking vaguely as I remember it, it don't make sense. But anyway, so it's August and I'm back. Back, students are back in class. So I'm very excited. Like, as much as I said in May, like once I find out I'm pregnant, I want to quit. Well, I couldn't quit because we need health insurance, we need income, we got to do what we got to do. So we're going to somehow push through. I was excited being a science teacher because I'm like, I am a walking science experiment every day. So I kept it a secret, but I started to show, and I would like make it a joke. And so one kid was like, "Are you pregnant?" I was like, "No, I'm just fat." And they was like, "What?" Like, first off, they was taken aback that I said, "No, I'm just fat," casually like that. And then they was like, okay. They was like, "No, because they said you pregnant." I say, "Who said that?" I I'm just fat. And so then those who could kind of tell, like, that ain't fat, that look like bump, they'll be like, I got a question. And I'm like, okay, what? And I'm like, yes, I am. And so that was kind of cool. But I was super excited to like share with my students, this science project. And I was going to post daily facts or weekly facts about like what was being developed, and always tie it back to science so that we could truly be a part of this and, celebrate this or whatever. Um, 10 days after 10 school days after the school year started, I had went to San Antonio. My friend, her daughter was turning 1. And so I went out to San Antonio, and I stayed. I don't think I was there a whole night. I think I left Saturday and I was going to stay till Sunday. Yeah. I went out there on Saturday and I was going to leave on Sunday. And on that Monday, I was going to be my 20-week full anatomy scan. So I'm still 19 weeks. And so I'm driving and I'm feeling this pressure again. I'm like, maybe I gotta pee. Maybe we just sitting on my bladder. So go to a rest stop at about 45 minutes out from the from where she lived. Go to the bathroom, relief, but I'm still feeling this pressure. So I recline the seat some more in the I recline the seat in the car so I can sit a little bit, give him some more room to just kind of be comfortable. And I make it to San Antonio. We at the party, having a good time. It's a pool party, so I get in the water. Hopefully that's gonna give me some relief. Does a little bit. There's a little kid in the water, and um he got on floaties on his arm, and so he's trying to like swim, and so I like help guide him, and then he like kicks off and he kind of kicks my stomach, and so instantly I kind of panic, and I'm just like, oh goodness, he kind of just kicked me. And mind you, I was already feeling this little bit of discomfort, and I'm just like, what's going on? So I get out of the water, and I'm kind of just sitting, and I'm chilling, and I'm sitting, I'm chilling. Everything kind of eases or whatever. It's now nighttime. I'm laying in the bed. Left side, right side, left side, on my back, sit up, slant. I'm just not comfortable. I'm still feeling this pressure. I'm still feeling this pressure. And I was like, maybe it's gas. And so I like situate and then I fart. And I was like, oh, that felt good. So I was like, and then he moves. And I was like, okay, cool. So basically, we just need to keep passing gas and we need to just rearrange how we working with each other. Because if it was one thing I've always been is very much a part of my body. Like I'm aware when things feel off and just like all the things. So I then push out a fart again and psh, and I was just like, what? And so I clench and I get up and go to the bathroom. I sit down and I'm like, huh. And then it dawns on me. I said, girl, that's not your pee hole. And then I jumped up and I like clenched again. I said, oh my God. Turn around, look in the toilet. Yeah, it's red. Okay. Okay. Instant panic. Go to my friend room. I say, gee, we gotta go. I think my water just broke. And so she was like, okay. So she talking to her baby daddy, and then I'm in my car. So she calls me. She thinking that she finna drive us. I said, girl, I'm already in my car. I already know the hospital we going to. So I'm sitting on towels. I was like, I'm also sitting on towels. I'm sorry. I'll buy you some more. And so I'm sitting on towels. I'm finna drive us to the hospital. And we get there. And I swear, everything in Houston everything in any Texas city, I feel like feels so far. Cause it felt far getting there, but it was like the closest one in regards to miles. So we get there. I'm in the emergency room. They take me to the back. First thing they do is final fetal heart rate. Cool, 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 cool. I think it was 160. No, it was 148. It was 148. I'm like, okay. And so I'm relaxing, but I'm also not, and I'm feeling uh blood come out. And I'm just like, okay. So then they were like, well, we're not equipped for this matter, so we're gonna transport you to another hospital. To me, every second counts. So how fast we gonna get that? So now I'm in the back of an ambulance. My friend is driving my car to the next hospital, and I'm just nervous. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Like, what? I'm nervous. Like, my water is broken, so my baby is clearly about to come. Like, huh. So we get there, and they're talking outside they admit me all the way into my own room, and they're talking outside the door. And then they come in and they tell me essentially, like, because I'm 19 weeks, it is an unsurvivable pregnancy, and there's nothing that they can do because one, he wouldn't survive. Two, the tools to potentially increase survival, they would be too big, and they don't have anything small enough for him. I said, okay. I said, okay. And they were like, so, and we can't go and retrieve him. I said, so, and excuse me for how blunt this is going to sound, but this is exactly what I said in that room. I said, so we got to wait on my baby to die and then go get him. And they were like, as much as they could practice bedside care, they were just like, yes, I'm sorry. And then they have to tell me that because of this situation, I'm at risk for infection. Go get him. Get my baby. So like it's like risk. I was so upset. I was so upset at this state and its laws because I am now at risk because of a law. This would technically be like, what do you mean? So we had to wait. This was my water broke at like 2:30 something in the morning. And this was early in the morning and I had to wait to just and so then by the time I got to that second hospital, his heart rate was 128. I think it was 128. And then they moved me from that emergency room unit to like the maternity ward. And so now I'm in there and they're getting his heart rate again and they don't want to tell me. I said, I know that you all don't want to tell me. I want to know because if I'm essentially about to, like, if he's about to end his life, I want to be a part of that. Just the year prior, I was a part of my grandmother's uh what you call it, life support. So I was a part of her transition. It is very important to me that I'm a part of the transition that is happening in my body. Like, we not finna act like that. So then they told me again, they were like, it was so weird because they're right there. They got this stuff on my stomach, and I'm looking at the machine and I'm looking at them. And they were like, heart rate is 93. Okay, like if I'm up here and I'm up here, like give me what I'm requesting. Like you ain't giving me what I would really prefer. So we can meet me halfway with a heartbeat. So my friend is there the entire time. Like she didn't leave my side until like later on and kind of just gave me some time and some space to just I'll get to that part. But anyway. So it's so interesting that the universe works the way that it works because um by that time his dad had found my work email and had sent me an email uh sent me an email through my work address, my work email. And I was just like, what are you doing? Because that scared me. I was just like, no, I'm not here for that. And so then we were in communication and he was apologetic and all this and all of that. And I was just like, whatever. And so then he wanted to be like, are you taking prenatals and are you doing this? And like, now you want to have all this care. And I'm just like, kick rocks. Like, what? So then he ends up calling me. It's now like 8 in the morning. He ends up calling me and he was like, how you doing? What's going on? Woo, woo. And I'm just like, well, I'm about to have your baby. And he was like, what? And I was like, well, my water broke. In my head, I farted and my water broke. That was what happened. And so that was so now he's like he wants to be present and it was just a fool. So after I don't remember the time it was, but after we confirmed that now he no longer has a heartbeat, they did induce me. And so they induced me and I think they induced me at like 1 or 2 p.m. Yeah. It was like 1 or 2 p.m. they induced me and then that was interesting because then the contraction started coming and I'm very much a holistic person. Can we not be tied to this bed? I want to walk around. I want to walk him down. I want to just like I really want to help move this naturally. Like you keeping me bed bound is not the way. So now we got all of these different tools, but they want to keep me in the bed and I'm trying to meet them halfway, work through my contractions, like all type of stuff. So um, contractions get closer and closer. And in short, I had my son at 6:42 p.m., August 28th, 2022. Yeah. So to have had the experience to like deliver at that time, to have the experience of like labor and delivery, and then to just hold your baby. and they don't have life. They don't have air. It was hard. It was hard. It was definitely hard. Um, they let me keep him overnight, and I was they were so they were so caring and supportive. They put me in contact with like a grieving mothers program and support group. They got like I got like this what do you call it? They they put his hand and footprints in like this I won't say a cast, but in like a paper mache thing. So I like have his handprints. They let me keep his clothes and just like a lot of different things. So that was really appreciative. And then they had to put me in connection with a funeral company so that he could be cremated. And just like whole time I don't know why he passed. Like we doing all this, I don't know why he passed. Um there's gonna be a separate episode that I talk specifically about postpartum for his pregnancy and then postpartum for my daughter's pregnancy because they look different. I think number one, I'm not the same human after he was born, and I'm definitely not the same human after she was born. Um, and I also what my life was holistically is just very different. So I experienced postpartum differently. But I came back to Houston unclear as to why. So I had them print all of my medical records from my time while I was in San Antonio. I had them print all the paperwork, and I also had them email or fax all the paperwork to my OB here in Houston. And so I go to a follow up with my OB, and she's like, "Yeah, I looked through all the paperwork." And she was like, "Nothing really indicates what happened." And she was just like, "But I'm here for you." And so we extended my postpartum because the doctor in San Antonio was only going to give me 4 weeks. And I was my maternity leave. He was only going to give me 4 weeks. And so when I'm sitting in her office and we're talking about everything, she was like, "No, I'm finna extend it the full 12." I said, "Thank you so much." And I needed it. Like, I couldn't imagine if I would have gone back in early October and been in front of them kids. You talk about a wreck. I know I would have been a wreck. But anyway, it is not clear as to why and how his pregnancy was there and then gone. One thing that bothered me the most was the fact that the next day, that Monday, because he was born on a Sunday, I was supposed to go to the doctor and get the full anatomy. So could something have been seen or like detected in that full anatomy? And I'll never know. We're gonna take a moment because I need my camera to cool down before we talk about my daughter's story. BRB.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this. I took the break, came back to record, and ran out of space. So I will have to re record my daughter's story. There were also parts that were related to my son's story and my daughter's story that will also be shared because ultimately I do know what happened in my first pregnancy, but I will share that in part two. Thank you for those of us who listened throughout. If you needed a pause, I respect it, I understand it. Thank you for those who supported me then and support me now. And I will meet y'all next week. Wishing you love, light, and laughter. Until next time.